I mean, I have stomach issues as well that Kristen's been able to help me with. You know, whatever's happening with me, like right now I have a pinched nerve in my back. So it's just having that one person that's like there to really guide me for everything is, I think, the big difference that it's made for me.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, so today we have WarriorBabe Robin here with us, and she's here to tell her story. Prior to joining WarriorBabe, she spent most of her life active and in shape, and it wasn't until about 1 year where like everything changed for her after having 3 surgeries, including an aggressive procedure that left her body basically, and it put her body into chaos. She didn't even like recognize herself, and no matter what she tried, nothing worked. She was working with a nutritionist that had her eating like 1,100 calories, and still her body wouldn't change. So naturally, she felt frustrated and ready to give up, but she found WarriorBabe, and now she's eating more than ever. She's lifting heavier than ever, and she's seeing muscles that she thought were gone for good. And the best part, she's finally feeling confident in her skin again. So, Robin, welcome, and thank you for being here to share your story.
Thank you, Nikki. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, for the people that are listening in on this right now, can you just give a little bit of background of like where you're from, how old you are, and what do you do for work?
Sure. So born and raised in New Jersey. I'm a snowbird now. So we're part-time in Florida. I have grown children, 29 and 26. I myself am turning 62 in a couple months. And I currently work for a medical device company for implants, and I'm their tech product owner in IT for their ERP systems.
Oh, okay. Very nice, very nice. Where in Florida?
We have a house in the Keys.
Beautiful.
We bought just about a year ago. Yeah, we love it.
Beautiful.
Very happy.
When I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to have a house in Florida too.
It's doable.
Okay, so let's go back to before WarriorBabe. What was your situation like before you found us, your health and fitness?
Right before I found you, I was probably at my lowest, worst point ever. Felt horrible, looked horrible. Like you said, I had 3 surgeries in a row. The most aggressive being a tumor on my ovaries, where they removed my ovaries and my fallopian tubes, left me with no hormones whatsoever. So had to start hormone replacement therapy at the same time, which took probably about a year and a half to get that correct. But in that time, my body just I just changed so much. I didn't recognize myself, didn't know what to do. I had always worked out at least 5 days a week my whole life, and just couldn't find the right fit for me. Tried, like you said, tried a nutritionist who had me, doing the weights, but eating, I think I was about 1,120 something calories a day. And, it just, I saw a little progress, but basically none, nothing really worked. I had tried one of those programs, I won't say the name on here, but where you're eating, like you take their packets and you pour water and you make food with it.
Oh, wow.
And I lost a lot of weight, but it's not sustainable. And as soon as I stopped, my whole body just went back. So, realized that I really needed to make some kind of a drastic change. I knew what I was looking for. I just didn't know where to find it. Mm-hmm. And I was looking for somebody to guide me in both phases, in eating and in my workouts. And I did a lot of Googling. That's how I found WarriorBabe, honestly.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm so happy you found us. Taking a step back before we dive into that ad and what resonated with you and your start at WarriorBabe, you mentioned having those 3 surgeries in 1 year. Wow.
It's a bad year.
Wow.
It's a bad year in my house, yeah.
And then the one that sent you into chaos with the tumor. Jeez. Mm-hmm. How did that impact like your body and your mindset?
It was devastating. Like I said, my body became just unrecognizable. And I hid myself in my clothes. Like, I'm not a I'm not a person who ever wore tight clothes, as you can see. I like kind of like a bohemian style, so I could hide it well. But when I took off my clothes at night to change, and I could just see how my body was just so different, and so even my face, it just everything was off, everything was wrong. Was really it affected me mentally seeing myself like that because I had never been like that. So it affected me mentally. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't really want to go out much honestly. Just was like in kind of a depressed state at that
Yeah.
time. and
Wow.
and the hormones going up and down with the hormone replacement doesn't help either. That sends your body into all kinds of chaos. And one of the I think it took 3 times to get that right. The first time they tried it, I was a 59-year-old getting my period every day, which is not fun.
That gave me
So
chills.
yeah, so it was, it took, like I said, it took like a year and a half to get the levels of the different estrogen and progesterone correct. Um, once they removed my ovaries. So,
Holy moly. Yeah, wow. I'm there in that story with you right now. Like that, I can feel the devastation and how you were feeling at that point. Um, when you it's taking also to the point that you talked about the nutritionist, the 1100 calories, was this at the same time or was this after?
it was it was after the surgery, after I was kind of released from the cancer. I didn't have cancer, but the cancer center treated me. After I was released from the cancer center and started on the hormone replacement, I needed something, so I looked for a nutritionist. I think one of my doctors recommended this person to me, and I started working with her. So it was all kind of around the same time, which would have been the summer to the end of like 2023, because I joined
Okay.
WarriorBabe in like right at the end of December 2023.
What was the moment that you like made you realize like this isn't working anymore? Like I need to try something different.
I was frustrated because I was not seeing the results. I knew I really had to incorporate. I didn't know that the nutrition part, and like I know now, I didn't know that 1100 calories was not enough to sustain my body. But I really knew I needed a good coach and a workout plan and something that I could do, because I do work long hours and I do work remotely, something I could do from my home. And so I was looking for something that really incorporated that, and actually looking probably more on the workout side because I thought I knew the nutrition side. You know, Obviously I didn't, but I thought I did. And so I was really looking for that coaching on the workout side.
Yeah. I hear you. I feel like there's so many women that come into Warrior Babe or they're looking for a program and they think that they are eating healthy or they think they're doing it right. And it's just by giving the knowledge, you're trusting in the person that's giving you the plan of the program to follow. So you feel like if you're being guided by a professional, then you should feel like you know what you're doing.
Right.
Um, I'm just curious, like, do you remember how much protein you were eating beforehand?
Oh gosh, I honestly don't, but it was nothing
I
near
know.
what I'm eating now. I know that. Not even close. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, no.
And looking back at this before we dive into
Mm.
like the start of Warrior Babe, did you ever think that there was a part of you that had lost like all hope?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I thought, okay, at that point I was 60, and I just thought, okay, I'm just this is the way my life's going. Like, I've hit that 60 mark, and we're going downhill. I'd seen it happen to a lot of my friends. I have some friends that are older than me, and I had seen the same type of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as drastic as mine because of the surgeries, but I had seen them over as they got older. Putting on that weight. It's almost like you spread. I can't even kind of describe it. As you get older, um, and I just, you know, yeah, I thought, okay, maybe this is it for me. I had a really good run for 55 years or so, and maybe this is where I'm going.
I hear like women say they're like the dooms years or
Yeah.
This is just the way of life now. This transition into postmenopause, or even back in menopause, it's just what they have to accept. I've heard like I feel like strains in my body. I've heard those
It
things.
really is. I mean, it really is, and it sucks.
Wow.
100% going through. And I went through menopause early. I actually went through menopause when I was 49.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah. So I had been struggling even before the whole tumor thing happened. Had been struggling with just my body adjusting, my hair, my skin, uh, everything about me adjusting, and talked to many doctors and tried different supplements and this and that, and nothing really worked, honestly.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about how you found Warrior Babe. You said you found us an ad. What
I
was it
was
about you?
I was Googling. I just kept Googling, and then I would look, and then I would go, no, I can't do it. And then I would go back to it, and no, I can't do it.
Why?
And
What were you thinking or
I don't
feeling at that
know.
moment?
I don't know. I just, I knew I needed to like hit the button, but then I would. I think it's also my personality. I have to research and really think about things before I actually
Fair.
commit.
Fair.
And at the end of 2023, my oldest, my daughter lives in California. She was in an accident and had to have surgery, back surgery. So I flew out to California, and I was living with her for a while, November and December of 2023. And not only was this all happening, but because I was taking care of her and I was working and doing all this, my eating went to hell. And literally, like, whatever we could grab in the market that was soothing, like ice cream and garbage, we ate. And by the time I got home from California, I was like, okay, that's when I hit the button. I had been looking at it while I was in California, living with her, but that's when I got home and I went, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to do it. And that's when I did it. And whatever I clicked to join. Yeah.
Was there anything in particular that, like I was saying, that stood out to you the most?
I think it was the combination of having one coach being able to guide me through both workouts and nutrition at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that I was really looking for. So I think that's what really made me, and you, a lot of the ads that I saw and you talking were talking a lot about postmenopausal women, and that your life's not over after menopause. You can get your body back after menopause. So I was like, okay, that you were kind of speaking to me, speaking my language at the time.
Oh, beautiful. I'm happy to hear that. Curious question. Seeing a 35-year-old in an ad talking about menopause, how'd that make you feel?
It didn't bother me. Honestly, it didn't, because not only were you talking, but the women that you were showing were women like me.
Mm-hmm.
And the women in on my team, I call it, Kristen's clients, we're all in the same place. And so we can really connect with each other and, talk each other through things, which is really nice. So, even though, yes, you're a younger woman talking about it, the people that you were representing were like me, looked like me.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so you said when you first started Warrior Babe, what were your thoughts like in your first? How long has it been that you've been a Warrior Babe?
It's so I really started the program January 1st, 2023. So it's been 14 months now, almost 14 months now. Yeah. My first, you can ask Kristen the first thing that I said to her. I told her she was crazy when she told me how much I was going to. I said, no.
Wait, I did read that in your form. I was
That's
like, oh, I can't
work.
wait to get to that.
I told her probably for the first 6 months of the program, every time she changed something, I did tell her she was crazy. And she
Did
told
you
me to
do it
trust
though?
the
Did you follow
process.
through?
Oh yeah, she told me trust the process, and I trusted the process. But I kept telling her, no, I can't eat more and lose what I want to lose. And for me, it was a huge mind shift between losing weight, what the scale said, and what my body was telling me. Because honestly, scale wise, in 14 months, it's only been about 4 or 5 pounds, but I have an entirely different body. And I am so proud to show, like, my friends and my husband my before and after pictures. And they're like, oh my God, you must have lost 20, 30 pounds. I said, that's only 4 pounds on the scale, but my body is entirely different. So
Ah.
I don't even care what the scale says anymore because that's not, it's not, my muscles are what is doing it. I'm sure if I didn't have the muscles, it would have been a lot more weight loss or whatever. But yeah,
What kind of narratives and stories were broke by only having lost 4 pounds, but your body looks drastically different?
I was always so focused on my generation. We grew up focused on the scale. Okay, there was no such thing as really like working out to gain muscle or, we were cardio queens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did when I was working out in my 20s, 30s. I used to run. I could run for hours. That was my thing. And so always focus on the scale, that number on the scale. And now I don't care about the number on the scale. Sometimes, and I've told Kristen this on the days that I'm supposed to check in, like if I know I'm not feeling great, I won't get on the scale. I'll get on the scale when I feel good. When I know maybe I'm not bloated or I'm not, something isn't bothering me or whatever. I get on the scale when I feel good. I don't want to get on the scale.
Ugh,
And really just look at my photos and, try to, I think if anything, maybe I've missed 1 week of taking photos in the 14 months.
I love that. I love the mind shift that you had around that.
Yeah. And when Kristen asked me, okay, what are your goals for year 2? I'm like, I really want to get toned. Like, I want bigger muscles. I want to be toned. I love a 6-pack app. I don't know if that's possible with all the surgeries I've had, but that's my goal for this year because I've gotten my body back, right? And so now my goal is to take it to the next step this year.
I love that. And I love that you know and recognize now that your pictures will tell the full story and that
Yep.
scale isn't going to tell you much.
Nope.
It's you versus gravity against that scale.
Yeah.
Let's unpack the food aspect of it.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, bring me down that path when she told you
That's
to eat more.
that's so crazy because for years and years and years, I used my Fitness Pal before even, starting WarriorBabe, probably for a good 7 or 8 years before that. So I was used to tracking my food, but always was like on that like 1,200 calorie. You know how you always hear you should be at 1,200 calories or less. At whatever it is. I didn't really look at my macros, but my calories. I was focused on the calories. And now, yeah. And then, Kristen's like, you have to eat more. We have to get you up. Your body's not functioning. Your metabolism's not working. And I'm like, you're going to make me eat more food and all this protein, and how am I going to eat all this food? And and then within the first 3 months though of her gradually pushing my numbers up, the calories and my macros, and I'm like, oh my God, I see a difference in my body. Like, how is this even possible? The workouts weren't at this part really, they were more getting my body back in shape. I wasn't into like more of the heavier lifting like I am now. And I was like, how is this happening? I'm eating more and my body's changing. And even when we went into my first cut, my calories were still increasing because I hadn't gotten to that really maintenance point yet. And I'm like, and I remember saying to her again, how is this a cut if you're increasing, if I'm still increasing? Like, how is this working? But it all worked. And now I trust her completely. When she says it's okay, I think I just came out of another cut. She's like, okay, we're going back up. We're gonna get you back up. We're gonna stay there for 8 weeks. We'll go back into another cut. I'm like, go ahead.
So this whole methodology around like bringing it up, then going into a cut and giving your body a break and coming up and then going back into a cut. Is this all new to you?
Oh yeah, never done anything like that before. And even when I think about it now, when I'm in maintenance, I think I'm close to 1,600 calories. I think it is. I have to go back and look, but it's
Love
up
that.
there. Which, like, thinking about, if you had told me that a year and a half ago that I'm going to have you eating 1,600 calories, I wouldn't have joined. I would have said, no, that can't possibly work. But my maintenance for my body is somewhere around 1,600 calories, and it works.
62-year-old eating 1,600 calories is not many 62-year-olds are, 61, you're going to be 62 in a couple months.
Yeah.
Not many women can say that.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, what made Warrior Babe different from other approaches that you've tried?
I think it's the combination of having one person that can really coach you through all aspects of it. I mean, I have stomach issues as well that Kristen's been able to help me with. Um, whatever's happening with me, like right now I have a pinched nerve in my back. So we're adjusting things because I can't walk as much until I can kind of get this resolved. Um, so it's just having that one person that's like there to really guide me for everything is, I think, the big difference that it's made for me. Before, you could have a nutritionist over here, you could go to the gym, or you could work out with a coach over here, but they're not that one person looking at you as a whole. You know.
Yeah, I like to say that our coaches are nutritionists, they're personal trainers. They're also like life coaches in a way
They
too.
are.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the accomplishments that you've had, even though we've talked about a few already. But what do you feel like are some of your maybe top like 3, top 4 achievements since joining?
I feel proud to go outside again. I like the way they look. I feel confident in how I look and how I feel. My clothes are not so big anymore. This is going to sound weird, and I'm going to say it, and I think I put it in writing. My husband and our sex life has a 180. In our 60s, we're like in our 20s.
Yes, I love that. I'm
and
celebrating you so hard.
That's 100% from working out. I noticed it with him before this, when he went back to the gym a number of years ago, right after COVID, and he went back and he's always worked out. He was a football player. He's worked out his entire life. I saw a change in him when he started working out too, and then now me and the two of us, we're just like little kids again, which is, we're empty nesters, so it's fine. But yeah, that's been a huge change for the two of us to reconnect like that at this point in our lives. We've been together for 37 years, so yeah.
Wow,
It's
that's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things that you feel like you're able to do now that you couldn't do before, like physically, mentally?
Oh, physically, I am so much stronger. Like just confident in doing things around the house, or just not worrying about my aches and pains have gone away. Like those aches and pains you get maybe because your muscles aren't strong enough, so things are compensating. I used to have a lot of knee pain and different. I don't have those anymore. Like that's all gone. My body feels good. It feels strong. I don't worry about hurting myself. Things like that.
That's beautiful. You mentioned a couple minutes ago about different pant sizes or different sizes in clothes. Even though you've only lost 4 pounds, but your body looks drastically different.
Yeah.
Have you dropped in sizes too?
I've dropped bra sizes. I said to Kristen one day, I said, I don't know what's going on, but my underwear's too tight. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, you have your booty back.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, it's back. So, that went up a little bit. But, yeah, my pant sizes are smaller. My shirt sizes are smaller. My bathing suits, I got all new bathing suits for Florida. Yeah, and the clothes I'm buying are show more of me than just a big old sweatshirt or.
Oh, how does that make you feel?
Great, really great. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that you shared the relationship that you have with your husband now. How about any other relationships in your life? Have they been transformed with?
Well, I have a very good friend of mine who was going through a rough time as well, and she and I sat down and she said, "What are you doing? Like, what's going on?" And I told her about the program, and I showed her the before and after pictures. This was maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and she joined as well. she got excited and she joined as well. So, being able to help my friends, not coaching them, but show them that there's at our age maybe there's a different way to do things than just kind of like starving yourself and hoping that that's going to make a change.
Love that. I always say, like, I'm one person, but you guys are one to many, and you can share and spread the word. So I thank you for bringing in one of your friends into the ecosystem. Because
Mhm.
how's she doing? Is she seeing change she wants to see?
Yeah, she's doing good. She does
That's
a lot of
awesome.
traveling because she's retired. So it's been, on and off for her. But yeah, she was very happy with it.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
I hate to even ask this question, but it popped in my head. If you had never made a change,
Oh,
like,
God.
where do you think you'd be today?
I don't know. Still depressed, I guess. Definitely wouldn't be happy. Wouldn't be as happy as I am today.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know if it would have gotten worse or what kind of path I would have gone down. And you know what? No. You know what I probably would have done and would have regretted it? I probably would have gone on like Ozempic or like one of those drugs. Because you know what? I did think about it before I joined Warrior.
Did you?
I did. I did. Hmm.
Wow.
Definitely crossed my mind. Hmm.
I'm so God put Warrior Babe ad in front of you before
Yeah.
you did that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing with that. I know it's not always so super comfortable to talk about those
Hmm.
things. They have such a um, an interesting, story right now in the fitness space.
Yeah. Because you don't
So
have to get fit. You can just get really skinny.
I know.
You're not fit.
And then it always goes back, like, I just think in my head, I'm like, I always ask the question, is it sustainable?
It's not. Because I know people who, as soon as they go off,
It's right back.
they're ravenous.
It boggles my mind this stuff is still in the fitness industry. I'm like, when are we gonna, like, when's the narrative gonna shift? I don't think it's ever gonna shift because it's just more.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
The easy fix.
exactly. There's gonna be one every decade or something
Mhm.
like that. Okay, so let's think about. Well, first, before I even get into like how you would have conversations with anyone that's your age and what you would tell them, is there anything else along your journey that you want to share that I didn't ask and where you're at now?
I also think part of the program of having that group of women, right, along with my coach, that we we have our group chats. We support each other. We lift each other up when somebody's having a bad day or a bad time. Um, I just think that's really great too because if it was just me in my house, and not having that group of women, and just having Kristen that I do talk to a lot, but I think that kind of builds you up. We cheer each other's successes, and I think having that, if you don't have people around you who are in the same mindset, who you can do something like this with,
Yeah,
um, having that group of women is important.
that's nice. Yeah, it's like a good fellowship of women that you can
Yeah.
communicate and conversate with. So, for like we talked about earlier, there's women that are 55, 60, um, even 65, and they think, man, like it's not even possible. Like I can't turn my body around. I can't turn my health around. Like, what would you say to someone that is in that space right now and how WarriorBabe could have like an impact on their life?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably at my lowest point ever. I think, and it it's it's little steps, and I think one of your one of the community calls you had said something that actually really resonated with me, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the words were. Is something like it's not, you don't have to be perfect. You have to be consistent, right? And that really resonated with me. Um, and when you start, it's hard. It's hard to start and to get on track and to get your workouts. And I remember like the first couple months that I did legs, like I couldn't even hold a weight when I did a squat, and it hurt to squat without a weight. And now I'm holding, like 30 pounds and I'm squatting. So, it sneaks up on you gradually, but you can do it. And you might not notice the change along the way because it's so gradual. And one day you're going to turn around and you're going to look and you're going to see how far you've come, not only in what you can do with your exercises, but how you look and how you feel. And I remember telling my husband, if I ever tell you like I'm like achy again, like if I start bitching and complaining, sorry, am I not supposed to?
It's okay. Yeah, you're good. You're good. I do that all the time.
Complaining about, oh, my shoulder hurts, my knee hurts, this hurts, my back hurts. Tell me to go work out because it made everything, go away.
Heck yeah.
So it's daunting, but it's not going to happen overnight, but you get there by
Love
being
that.
consistent. You get
Love. Yeah. Amen to that. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to be consistent. Just got to show up. One last question. What would you say to someone that is afraid to eat more because they think they're going to gain weight?
there. It's a fallacy. It's a total fallacy. I mean, like I said, for probably a good 20 years, I did that 1,200 calorie thing. It's wrong. You're not going to gain weight. And I'm not eating like a huge amount of food. I'm not eating, but I'm eating the right amount, the right foods. Like I'm not stuffed eating 1,600 calories a day. I don't feel like I'm like gluttonous.
Yep.
But I have a good breakfast. I have a good lunch. I have a good dinner. I have a couple good snacks throughout the day. And that's it. It's a mindset, especially for my generation, who was brought up with a scale with the 1,200 calories, not knowing what a macro was. It's just a shift in mindset, but you have to. You have to shift your mindset.
Love that. Doesn't protein make a world of a difference?
It does. It does. And I sit there, like I just did it last night. I bought chicken breasts, chicken tenders, whatever, and I just cooked them all up, cooked up my veggies. They're in the fridge for when I need to grab and go. Kristen helped me find, because I do work a lot, a great meal prep service.
Nice.
Really nice, delicious meals. I get like 6 a week. I keep them in my fridge, so those nights when I'm just like really tired and just need to grab something good, I don't have to worry about it or think about it, and that's really helped too. And just keeping the right things in the house.
Love that. That made me think, actually, I have one more question.
Yeah.
And I haven't asked this yet on an interview, and I should add this, but what's your favorite meal that you make?
My favorite meal, oddly enough, is now breakfast, which I probably was my least favorite meal. I don't even remember what I used to eat for breakfast. But I make these like egg white bites.
Oh, nice.
And I think they're a dupe of Starbucks. I found the recipe, and it's just like egg whites, cottage cheese, a little Monterey Jack cheese, seasoning, spinach, and mix it all up in a blender, and you just bake it in a little muffin tin. I have that and oatmeal in the morning, and that gets me going.
I love
I
that.
think it's my favorite meal.
I love that. Well, thank you, Robin, for being here and for sharing that was a beautiful interview, and I appreciate you, in some aspects being very open and sharing where you're at now and what a difference it is to see where you're at. And anybody that's listening, like Robin's journey proves that sometimes like the biggest transformations that we can make, it doesn't just come from how we look, it comes from how we feel. And she went from, frustration and things that she was sharing with us, being devastated and down and doubt, to being in strength and confidence, and simply by just trusting the process. So if any of you guys are listening to this and you guys feel like you're stuck in a cycle of doing more, eating less, and still not seeing the results that you want, there is another way. You just were inspired by Robin's story. So take that first step today. Check out WarriorBabe.com and know that it's totally possible for you too. Robin, thank you so much for being here and for sharing that story. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.